Hi, everybody. Chris here. Obviously, this is immediately something visibly different from what we normally do. This is just sort of me messing around with a couple things. We've been wanting to change around some of the formatting on some of our videos for a little while. Obviously, still keeping the Let's Play videos going. But we also want to, look at and discuss other video formats, mess around with some other things as they come up. So, one of the things I had always been pushing to want to try to do at least was a build video. I kind of enjoy watching them. I find them very peaceful, and I'd like to try my own hands at doing one. So here we are. I did also want to do a bit of a Q&A video because we've been meaning to do one of those for a while. We did the 7-question video that Milix had sent us, which you'll see in the... I'm trying to do this from upside down, from down in the description below. I'll leave a link to that. That's really cool because we do it while we're driving, which is really neat. But yeah, we always just wanted to ask some more questions. And sorry about that yellow box that shows up. I'm actually recording this off my phone using some screen mirroring wizardry. So hopefully that doesn't break. Yeah, this is going to take some getting used to. So I do have some questions. There weren't a whole lot sent in, but that's because we only had one day to send them in, or get people to send them in before I decided I wanted to do this video, because my schedule is a little busy right now. And it is just me. Stefan is not here today to work on this with us. So, what we're going to be building, this was lovingly donated to us by a friend of the channel, Amy. I did not buy this. I don't have that kind of money. I'm a student. This is the Lego Star Wars. Han Solo in carbonite. So this was the scene where he's like, no! And they put him in carbonite. Kylo Ren is here. And I don't quite know why the worst villain in the universe is here, but he's watching us on everything that we do. So we've got the instructions here. I've got all my pieces broken down and sorted out into separate little bins. And we're going to build. So I'm just going to talk a bit while we build. So the first thing it wants us to do is build this little technician guy here. So we're going to put him together. It's terrifying. Oh. An Ugnaught, if I remember correctly, although I could be very, very wrong on that, and I apologize to all the Star Wars fans if I am. So yeah, we did get a bunch of questions sent in, so I do also have those written down over here. So while I'm talking, I am going to pull some of those up here. And the first question that we actually got sent in, very, very flattering, it was sent in by Milix, the same Milix who sent us the 7-question challenge. And he simply wanted to know, why are we so beautiful? And you know what, that's it's a really nice question, Milix. Personally, I blame my parents. I'm not that beautiful. You saw the 7 questions video. Although I hadn't showered when we filmed that video. I hadn't showered or done my hair because we had planned to do that video over a game like we normally do. But then somebody forgot their headphones at home and we had to go pick them up, Stefan. So we ended up shooting it in the car. Because like I said, we really wanted to do something with a different format anyways, rather than just burying that into another one of our Let's Play videos. So, yeah. But no, you know what? I've got my long hair because I'm a rock star. No, I'm not a rock star, but I'm a heavy metal guy. And that's always the first thing people notice about me and like to comment on is my long hair. I've been growing it now for about 5 years, give or take, which... I should really get these ends cut. They are not great. But, guys with long hair, I'm going to give you a hint right now, because this is super important, and if you screw this up, you're a bad person. If you have long hair, for the love of God, take care of it. Shower maybe every other day. Ignore Twitter. There. Shower every day or every other day, wash it, put product in it. You can't get away with having bad long hair if you're a guy. That's my one advice to you guys. But the first question, so the first question was why you're so beautiful, and thank you, I really appreciate that. The truth is, I found a lifestyle that I like. I said, I'm a big heavy metal guy. I do a lot of shows. I go see a lot of a lot of local bands. I'm fairly well known. Well, hopefully, I'd like to think I'm fairly well known in the local music scene, even though I'm not actually in a band and I don't play. I just hang around a lot with a lot of dudes from the local music scene. Yeah, so, and like within that lifestyle, it's just like, well, pick the look that I like within it. So, now this is a cool piece. I've never seen one of these guys before. This would have driven me nuts when I was a kid because it doesn't put everything in the straight angle. And that's not cool. I actually don't know what part we're building here. I only just recently took this apart, but I didn't pay a whole lot of attention while I was taking it apart. I was too busy listening to sleep. It's not like Titan, to be precise. This is going to be a long, rambling video, folks. There will be a time lapse at the end of the video that I'm going to edit all that together and make that all happen. As for why Stefan is so beautiful, I mean, he is like half Japanese, so that's kind of neat. But I don't think he's that beautiful. Sorry, Stefan. No, you're beautiful, Stefan. I'm joking. Let's see here. I actually do have a friend who occasionally watches the videos with the hope of a picture of Stefan flashing up, so, like, think about that for a minute. Another question that we got sent in, speaking of Stefan, was by Stefan himself. And it was, why do you smell like poop? And the answer is, you weren't supposed to notice that. I've been trying to mask that for years. Thanks, Dick. Sorry about these Lego noises if they're annoying. So I didn't lose any pieces. I decided to put all the Lego into Tupperware containers. So kind of, I'm starting to think that may have been a bad idea. Hey, this is the first time I've ever done one of these. So, like, yeah, let me know what you think of this. Like I said, I know this is kind of going to be like a long, rambling video of me just talking a whole bunch. But, like I said, we kind of just want to do something different with the channel. Especially now that the summer's here, we have a bit more time on our plate. Well, ish. Stefan has taken a course in film editing and a bunch of other stuff. So he's doing some pretty compact summer courses. But hopefully he's going to be able to teach me some tricks and techniques, because honestly, I know absolutely nothing about video editing, and it probably shows. Not that our videos are difficult to edit together, it's just, here's our audio, here's our video, there you go. But stuff like the Olympic promo was a huge learning curve to me, like, oh god, how do I green screen? And, with the technology that we had, our not quite green screen, didn't have our 3-point lighting set up. Like, we had Jess with us, who is phenomenal. I am so glad that she donates her time when she can to our projects and all that stuff. She's she's gone through film school, which great to have somebody like that. But like, we're also very poor and don't have a lot of money because we're all still students. So ultimately, we sort of have to work with what we've got, and sometimes that's not a lot. But that Olympic promo video was a huge learning curve, and just like figuring out, like, hey, what am I doing? I have no idea how to do any of this. So having somebody on the team, especially somebody as, sort of central as Stefan, who really actually understands the editing software, how that all works, how all those pieces. Much to the chagrin of many people, I'm about to say I still have no idea, like, what a keyframe is. So, yeah, there's that. So I was looking for a very specific piece here. Where are you, little piece? I know exactly what you look like. You're very special and unique. But, so, like, we don't have... The original plan was to spend this summer, like, plowing through a whole bunch of regular content. There it is, that's what I mean. So, like, look at this guy. A little, like... camera thing. A little piston here. But yeah, like, the original plan was to spend the summer, get a whole bunch of stuff recorded, like regular content for our channel recorded, like, the normal stuff that we do. And then spend the rest of the summer really, like, plowing through some stuff that we've always wanted to do. We wanted to film a Christmas special and never got a chance to do it because we were so busy with exams and stuff, both of us being students and all. so, and the Olympic promo was a lot of fun. It was probably the most fun we've had in a video. Not to say that we don't have fun. We do have a ton of fun, but it was just so goofy and so different. Like going down to the thrift shop and buying those fucking shorts, like all that sort of stuff. It's kind of neat. I wonder what that will be. But yeah, that was just a ton of fun. But it was such a learning curve on like learning how to edit the video. And a huge thanks to Nightstop for letting us use his song in that. I think that was super cool. Like I've got friends, like I said, I've got a lot of friends in the music industry who are just like, yeah, dude, like you can use our songs if you want. But at the same time, I mean, I listen to doom metal, like doom and sludge and thrash, and not really appropriate for a lot of our videos. So being able to find somebody who is willing to like let us use a song was super cool. And he is a super rad dude. We did end up having to pay for the song, but like he's such a cool dude. He was just like, how much is a beer in a pub cost in Canada? And it was like, I don't know, like $6, $7 if you're going fancy, or $9 if you're fucking getting a trooper at the boathouse. And that was it. That's all he wanted. And he's like, okay, send me that, and we're good. So I basically bought him a beer in exchange to use the song. So that was super cool. Like, really solid dude. That video was crazy because it was super hot that day. We were sweating like crazy in Jess's house, filming up against that green screen. Then we went outside, and it was great because it's like a little public park right by the place where she lives. She sort of lives in like a suburban area, so it is what it is. But yeah, a little public park right next to her place. So we're standing out there in those shorts. I've got those fucking shorts and the suspenders on. Stefan's wearing the I Hate the Beach shirt, and we'd all bought those that day at local Goodwill. And look, Goodwill, we're out there, and like people are watching, people are staring at us. There's you'll see in a couple shots, you'll see some people walking through the background. And so that was a real big thing on like the social anxiety scale of just like, well, commitment to the bit and all that. That was fun. So yeah, like ultimately what I guess what I'm slowly getting at here is we really do want to do more videos like that. Well, this is a bit strange. The instructions are telling me to use this piece here, which is like a little ball hole in the end there, but there's also this one that has a hole in both ends. I think it's the one with the hole in both ends, but we'll find out. So yeah, we just really did want to film more stuff like that. But then Stefan jumped on these courses, and they're pretty intensive courses. Like, he's started beginning of May, and he's got his finals at the beginning of June. It's actually part of the reason why I'm doing this video, so we don't have enough content to carry us through to when he's done exams. So, yeah, okay. So yeah, that's sort of why I want to do this video, and this is just a great excuse for me to do this video. We talked about build videos with him in the past. There's a great electronic shop just up the road from me. It's called Orion. We've talked about it in previous videos, where like that place fell out of like 1987 and just like never upgraded. Like, you can go into that place and it's just like floor to ceiling of bits and parts and micro switches and cables and capacitors, and like everything you could possibly imagine is in there. Whenever I'm trying to explain it to people, I always just start by saying, when you walk in and you turn to the left, there is just a wall with a bunch of old computer covers. Like the kind of covers, like dust covers for printers, but these are, for like IBM compatibles and Apple IIs and stuff like that. So like that's the kind of place that Orion is. And we had sort of talked about building a controller, or talked about doing a build video for that. Man, that would be a ton of work. I'm not really sure how to film something like that, although this setup does kind of work for smaller projects. Maybe we can mess around with The other thing that we had talked about doing was a video about building a Raspberry Pi into my arcade machine. Because right now it's running a PC inside. That might allow us to do some more stuff with capture, that sort of thing. So that's another idea that we've had, but it sort of all got sidetracked by Stefan having this course. So hopefully the late summer will be good, and I won't be working too much. Yeah. Another question that we got was what do we do? Like I said, right now Stefan is a full-time student. I think he's doing like a computer engineering, computer programming courses. So that's basically his life, and it's so bizarre. Like, I really enjoy talking to him about a lot of that stuff because it really is a world that is entirely beyond me. And you've heard that in some of our videos where, like, I ask him some questions about, like, oh, you're building this thing, like, how do you build a microprocessor? And he starts talking about machine languages and assembly languages, and I'm just like, I don't understand what any of this means. Wait, what? Hang on. Oh, okay, so for me, I'm a social work student, so I'm becoming a social service worker here. I'm not really sure how. Okay, wants me to insert it's insertion, I think. Oh, huh. Okay. Kind of neat. Oh, yeah, girl. Oh, I think I may have put this guy in too high up. It's a classic flaw with LEGO instructions where they insist on, like, not giving you just enough information. You've got to sort of figure out a chunk of it as you go along. No, but I'm a social work student at Conestoga College here in Ontario, and I currently volunteer my time as like a child youth worker, which is my long-term goal. So working with, kids and youth who have whatever their struggles may be, are their struggles. So like right now I volunteer at a behavioral program at a high school. So students who are struggling with some behavioral issues. And I love it. I absolutely adore it. Sometimes people struggle to understand why I enjoy it. But, no, it does go in at the top. Okay. I'm going to take your word for it, LEGO. But, so that occupies most of my time writing essays about feelings. But I spent 9 years working in call centers, most of the time for 2 major Canadian telecoms. I worked for Bell and Rogers. I can actually say that now. The non-disclosure agreements have passed. Those were awful jobs. Like, seriously, don't ever work in call centers. They are just horrible, horrible places. Sorry, I'm still just fighting with this. There we go. Okay, so that's what it's telling me to do. I'm going to trust it on that, okay? So that's my long-term goal: social work, become a social worker. It's a long road. It's 2 years in college, and then another 2 if you want to get your bachelor's, and then 2 more after that if you want to get your master's, or 2 in college for the social service worker, and then 3 in university if you want to get your child and social work or child and youth worker degree, which is ultimately what I'm looking for. So thank God for free tuition, am I right? But that always becomes sort of one of my favorite topics, is whenever people ask me about like politics, especially everything that's going on. No, I'm not going to make this a video, but they always dump that out. Yeah. Sorry, I had a runaway piece. Whenever people ask me about politics and stuff like that, it's like I always just ultimately have to remind them, like, guys, I'm a social worker. Like, what do you think my politics are? But yeah, so that's a long-term goal. I would love to be able to work in a school board in a school with kids. That's a very long road to get into. It's a very shitty road to get into. There's a lot of like temp work and substitute work that you have to do, not necessarily as a teacher, but definitely if you're going in as as a child and youth worker. But I also struggle a lot working with young kids. I find as the age number goes down, my patience also goes down. I think it's like a reasoning skill thing. I can't really explain it beyond that. But that's something I'm working on. I just have to hang around kids more often without, being creepy stuff. Let's see here. Just putting this guy together here, whatever this guy is. Should probably do this on camera for you guys. Sorry, I'm still learning how to do that. This goes here. What do you get? Okay, there we go. That's what we got. This kind of reminded me of your mom last night. Okay. Another question that we received was, obviously you guys see what videos we play on a regular basis. It is, after all, ultimately written originally a Let's Play channel. But it's like, what games do you play in your spare time? The original question, or answer for that question was, look, we play what you see. Like, we play our Let's Play videos. And, like, that's kind of it, because when I was in school and editing all the Dropkick gaming stuff together, like, I just didn't have time for other games. And Stefan really didn't have a whole lot of time either, because his program was so intense. So it was very much so like, yeah, these are the games we're playing, or in my case, these are the games I'm watching, because if I'm not editing all this stuff together for you, I am frantically writing essays, papers, preparing for role plays, like all that sort of stuff. There we go. Okay. But, so it was very much so a what you see is what you get with me. Now that school's done and I have a whole bunch of spare time on my hands, although I am currently job, as much as I hate that process. It's such a shitty process. I've sort of gotten really deep back into World of Warcraft. I've always sort of enjoyed that game, so I'd love to play with some of you guys if you're interested. Let me know and I will send you my Battle.net information, because that could be kind of fun. I've actually thought about doing some World of Warcraft streams, but the problem is I'm mostly a filthy casual. I'm not part of any sort of a guild, and I like to watch movies while I do it and just sit around and do stuff like fishing. So they would not be the most thrilling streams you've ever seen in the whole world. I also play a lot of Rock Band. I am a drummer. I play drums. I'm not a very good drummer, but I am a drummer. And I play guitar and stuff in real life. But my apartment here and having 3 roommates and just space, it's not really well set up for me to have a full-scale drum kit in here. They are loud, even though there are techniques you can use to quiet them down. They take up a huge amount of space. They have a long setup and takedown process. So it's just in this apartment or house, I'm renting a house, it's just not practical to do that. So I use, this is going to sound like a lame thing, but I use the Rock Band drum kit, the Pro Drums. Try to stay at least a little bit on top of some skills. Especially once you get into the Pro Drums with the cymbals and stuff. The gameplay is actually fairly similar to real life. Obviously, you don't have to worry about, having a second foot pedal for your kicks. You don't have to worry about, or for your cymbal, your hi-hat. You don't have to worry about, the strength of your hit and where you're hitting the symbols, but it's enough to remember, you know, your basic beats, stuff like that. So that's why I use it. So I play a lot of that. I usually don't try to play almost every day. But at the same time, in the interest of, you know, good relations with roommates, I'm also trying to avoid playing it while they're here, because it's kind of a douche move, because while that kit is quieter than a Rock Band drum, or than a regular drum kit, it is still quite loud. So, beyond that, I sort of stopped playing Hitman. Kind of played that to death. Like, I got kind of bored of it after a little while. Final Fantasy XII remake is coming down the pipe, which I'm really excited for. Final Fantasy XII is, or sorry, Final Fantasy Star Wars, as many of my friends like to call it, is probably my favorite Final Fantasy game. It's like 12 Game Boy Advance Tactics, specifically the GBA version, because I love the judges in that, and then 10. But that's a little out of my I don't have an income at the moment budget. Stingy guy. I would like to pick up that Final Fantasy XII remaster though. That would be really nice to have. I hope this is bright enough. Let's try that. Building at my desk, so I don't have a whole lot of options in front of me. I wonder if... No. Okay, hang on. Yeah, it's gonna be really confusing in the time lapse. So, yeah, I guess we'll see how this light. I'm just using a desk lamp here, so I guess we'll see how this goes. I still have this guy waiting in the wings. Hello. Like beyond that, like I've got a huge game collection here, but I don't play a whole lot of games as much anymore, or the ones that I do play are just sort of the ones that I stick with because addictive MMOs and stuff. Drumming is a great stress relief tactic. As a pending social worker or social service worker, I can tell you self-care is important, and drumming is really good at working out them inner demons. So, let's see here. Okay. This is going to be a fairly long video. I might actually end up chopping this into pieces. I have no idea on that front if I'm going to do that. Let's see how long this is going to be. Let's step 24 here. So Han Solo, Frozen, and Carbonite. Star Wars movies. Star Wars movies. I like Star Trek. I'm a Star Trek guy myself. Like, I can appreciate the Star Wars films. I loved them when I was younger. Absolutely loved them when I was younger. That's because really they're fantasy films in disguise. Yeah, but I just kind of like... There was more Star Trek content available with all the shows and stuff, so there's just more world building, and I just sort of attached myself to that. But, yeah. Definitely, you know, like anybody of my age, I definitely prefer the originals more, like the original trilogy more. And I'm not going to start getting into like why the prequels aren't great films. It's not really... Well, I can, I guess, a little bit. But, I just think, you know what, the writing was better. It was a time back when nobody was really sure what they were doing with sci-fi films, because they were pre-Star Wars. Everything was just totally crazy out there. We were getting some incredible Star Wars movies, or sci-fi movies, but nobody really... And some real trash, too. You know what? It's probably going to be like a platform that goes from here. Nobody really knew like what the hell they were doing when they were making sci-fi films, because they hadn't had that huge smash hit that was Star Wars. So Yeah. But I just think the writing's better, the characters are better. I mean, Darth Vader is a goofy villain, ultimately, but there was a presence to Darth Vader that I really liked, that I found that, Darth Maul didn't. Like, Darth Maul had a lot of mid to late 90s, because that movie was, 99? Like, mid to late 90s, early 2000s batitude going on. Which, like, to my brain, 1999, I was 12, was super cool. Like, I was super into Darth Maul when I was young. Like, oh my god, what a cool dude. Like, he's got all these, like, black and red face tattoos, and he's such a badass. But, like, he's also Toad from X-Men. But yeah, I don't know, like, it just... I don't think that lends itself well to a villain with a lot of, like, lasting. He's very much a product of his time. And of course, everything's a product of his time, but... Like, I think Darth Vader was a much better villain because he had a lasting and more... Like, if you took... Let's just say we took A New Hope. Like, believe the fact that we have 2 extra films of exposition with Darth Vader in it. Oh, we're done this piece for now. Let's put that over there. Hang out with this guy. Just leave it there. Like, minus the fact we had 2 extra films of exposition about the character of Darth Vader. Like, he was more intimidating. He was more well fleshed out as a character. Like that first scene when you see Darth Vader and he walks in and just doors open, there's the musical flourish, and then there's Darth Vader and he's weirdly breathing like he's got asthma. Like, even still, that's really intimidating. But at the same time, you're not entirely sure what kind of a character he's going to be, because he doesn't have that kind of like Darth Maul lameness to him, where it's like, oh, yep, hey, that's a villain. You look at Darth Vader and you can still say that's a villain. But he's more sophisticated, I guess, is what I'm trying to ramble my way towards. He's a villain with some depth, which I prefer. But then you end up with dudes like Kylo Ren, where... Oh, Kylo Ren. He was not a great villain. I've only seen the first The Force Awakens. I haven't seen the Force struggles to get out of the bed and the Force stares out the window and wonders where it all went wrong. But, yeah, okay, that checks out. But, like, I just, like... he just wasn't... Force Awakens had some problems for me. Like, hey, look, instead of a Death Star, we built a Death Planet, because what could possibly... Oh, there was one critical flaw in it. And this time the flaw wasn't even like space wizards. It was just dudes in little ships. Serious fan service going on there. Yeah, like, it didn't do it for me. I don't know what kind of expectations I really had for it, because it's like, at the same time, like, Star Wars is a super B movie. Like, ultimately, the Star Wars trilogy, even though they are well loved and like revered as being some of the best sci-fi films ever made, they are super B movie. And I feel like that is a very tough set of shoes to fill, because, like, how do you make a B movie that is also like an A movie? Because that's what they had to do with Star Wars. It's like, well, we've got to make this really, really good, but at the same time, we've got to try to hold on to some of that campiness, and I feel like it didn't pull that off in a way that at least I was looking for. Obviously, if you enjoy that film, like, good, please do enjoy it. But it didn't do it for me. I don't know, I just found like Kylo Ren was a bit too whiny for me. He never struck me as the kind of guy, like, opening of the film, he's like, look at me, I can do shit that even Darth Vader didn't do. I was able to stop a laser with my hand. Man, you never saw Darth Vader do that. But by the end of the movie, he's just this, like, kind of... He's a bit of a whiny bitch. I promise I'm a behavioral counselor. Like, he just comes across as being really whiny, complains a whole lot. Suddenly he's getting beaten up by kids in the woods. It's like, okay, we've seen the mystical prodigy story arc before. You're not doing anything new here, Star Wars. So this goes there. This little piece that looks like an old-timey clock. Why? It goes there, and this goes here. This goes here. Okay. Yo, there's a lot going on with this Lego kit, man. This is way more complicated. Like when I was building Lego when I was a kid, that would have been... Oh, I see it. I see what's going on. No, when I was building Lego as a kid, like that's when all like the castle stuff and the pirate ship were sort of their big, all the way, were their big set pieces. So been a long road getting from down to here. So there. This goes here. It's all correctly. Okay. There we go. So anyways, I'm done ranting about Star Wars and Kylo Ren and all that sort of stuff. I did get another question, which was like, how old are you? And I am, as of this filming, I am 29. I turned 30 in September. That scares the shit out of me because, you know, I'm currently young and beautiful. Sorry, 30-year-olds. Like, Stefan's 32. He actually just turned 32 a couple days ago. So, there's that. But, yeah. Should be another piece that looks like this. There it is. Okay. There's something so wonderful about building Lego, and I just wish it wasn't so ungodly expensive. That's the biggest problem for me. Here's just how expensive Lego is. So I'm glad somebody loaned me this kit. I'm going to try to harass other people. Maybe I know. Again, if you enjoy this video, it would not be a regular feature. This is just me trying to fill up some time. But you know, if you enjoy this, I'm sure this is something that we can revisit and expand on at some point. So, a little yellow box that tells me where you're focused. Oh, so this. Okay, making like a little ejector seat, like. Okay. I actually really do enjoy building things. Like the act of construction, deconstruction, following the instructions. Like, I actually really enjoy building IKEA furniture. I mean, it's not the easiest thing in the world. Those instructions can be very frustrating sometimes. And, you know, painful to build. But I do kind of enjoy doing this stuff. I would love to find a game where this is basically what you're doing, which is like following instructions, putting these pieces together to build a bigger thing, you know, individual tiny little pieces to build a much larger thing. I dabbled around in that like World of Guns disassembly thing, because that's got a really, really cool set of tools for like, you know, taking out individual screws and all that stuff, but a bit of a pacifist, so like building guns and stuff, not really my scene. Okay, so this is going to connect. So I gotta bring this guy back. Get off of there. This guy connects here. The rest of this. There we go. Okay. Alright. I should really get better lighting for whenever I do another one of these, which I would love to. I'm going to try to get some better lighting for you guys to actually see what you're doing here. But hey, if you're listening to this at work, a lot of people have said they like to listen to us at work. This is going to be great for you. Oh, no, it's okay. We get to use the large flat gray piece. There we go. So yeah, like I would love a game where it's just like I know Minecraft is obviously a lot like that, but it's not the same. There's no instructions that you're really following. I would, I mean, yeah, you can find people who have built things and follow like what they've built and stuff. But it's not quite the same. So yeah, just finding more stuff like this to do would be fun. I've always just kind of enjoyed the accomplishment of building. But I'm also not great with my hands, like construction-wise, hammer into nails and all that sort of stuff. So I'm going into soft sciences, so with engineering or something. Also math. I hate math. It's one of the weirdest parts of working in a high school. Is like working in a behavioral program where we're helping people get credits. It's like I have to try to remember like grade 9 math and English and all that sort of stuff. So when my teachers once told me, you're going to use these skills on a regular basis, what they really meant was you're going to wait like 17 years and then use these skills exactly as they are now to teach other people how to use these skills. So suck it, math teachers. Suck it. Okay, sorry about that jump cut there, folks. Just to go deal with the cat. Let's see here. So yeah, grade 9 math and stuff. That's grade 9, grade 10 math. That's always fun to try to remember. Equations of a line. How many of you can accurately solve y equals mx plus b still? Give you a hint? Probably very few of you, unless you're grade 9 math teachers. So this goes there. Okay. Comes in like that. This guy goes here. There. I got some scratch marks on my hand. That's my cat. That. He's very loving and cuddling, but sometimes he wants the loving and cuddling to stop. He's very vocal about letting you know that it's time to... Well, not very vocal. He's very physical about letting you know it's time for the loving and the cuddling to stop. These two fellas. What? Now look at me throwing pieces on the floor. It's probably not a great way to be able to build a kit here. Okay. I think I might slice this up into two fingers. Depending on length. Already pretty far. I think we're getting fairly close to being done, as far as I can tell. Need one more of these sections, and we'll see. Is that weird? Is that weird cutting a time-lapse build video into two pieces like this? I have no idea. So another question we were asked was, this sort of ties along with like, hey, what do you play? Which is, do you have a PSN account and all that? So I mean, I do because I said play a lot of Rock Band. But the follow-up question to that was, do you play, like, specifically, do you play Injustice, and can I beat your ass at it? And the answer is no and yes. I'm not a big fighting game guy. I'm just never very good at them. I don't have the patience for them. I find I get frustrated with those kinds of games very, very easily, unlike, Stefan and El Nilo. Sorry about that. I decided it would be a great plan, as you can see this angle is shifted here even, to accidentally hurl my phone on the floor, so that's fun. So as I was saying, like Stefan used to, I don't think he does anymore, but he used to play Super Smash Brothers in our local league here in KW Let's Play. Nilo plays Street Fighter on professional-ish circuit, I believe. So I'm like the weird odd duck out who doesn't play fighting games out of our crew. Just because I just don't have the patience. So, I mean, if you're willing to buy me a copy of Injustice just so you can beat my ass at it, I will allow you to beat my ass a couple times, but then good. I'll probably go back to playing World of Warcraft. This is slowly coming together. You're starting to see. I guess this is where Mr. Solo himself goes. And then you get platforms up here. This is what I love about working on Lego. It's just this idea of like, well, I know what the finished product looks like, but there's just all these little tiny steps that slowly come into place to make all that happen, and I really enjoy that. We'd actually originally planned to shoot this with one of my roommates. It's a really nice high-definition camera, but didn't really want to have it like suspended right here. This like really expensive camera suspended up above without her here to make sure I don't accidentally explode it or anything. So that's fun. Oh. So instead we're just using my phone, which is running through some mirroring software called AirPlay. It's an iPhone. Yeah, I know, like my balls. That is projecting down, so it's picking up the feed here. Just running it off the camera. Apparently I didn't turn off my Twitter notification. Okay, so here's what we've got. This is quite nice looking so far. Oh, it wants me to build some more people. Okay. Well, let's see here. So we have here Mr. Boba Fett. When I was younger, I always used to call him Boba Fett because I thought Bobo was a really stupid name. And I still stand by that. Boba is a really dumb name. But he's also like the coolest character in all of Star Wars because, yeah. But or at least he was. I liked him because he was a proper badass, unlike Darth Maul. But he had a lot of mystery to him. Like everyone just knew he was the coolest, most badass bounty hunter in the universe. But we didn't know a whole heck of a lot about him. There was a few like side stories, tales for the bounty hunters, that sort of stuff. But his dark past was mostly unknown. And he looked cool. I really loved the design of the Mandalorian armor. Though, that's not his head. This is his head. That's not a head. This is a head. Although I don't know how I feel about being able to see his face, because in this movie we never got to see his face. We didn't get to see his face until the prequel trilogy, so I don't know how I feel about that. But put that little helmet on so we don't have to look at that anymore. And he's got this neat little like blaster pistol. It's actually two parts of the blaster pistol or his E11 blaster rifle. Modified. Yes. So you hang out over there, the Ugnaught. And let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have Indiana Jones here. Oh, look at that. He's got multiple faces. That's kind of neat. He's got like sleepy time or like scared shitless face. What are those scared shitless face? Although that is. Oh no, the hair does cover it almost up except for the mouth. That's kind of neat. It's been kind of weird if you had like a Harry Potter Chamber of Secrets sort of. The first one is Philosopher's Stone thing going on here. But yeah, I don't know, the Harry Potter series, I would like to go back and read them again. They came out in an era when I thought I was too cool for them. Yeah, okay, thank you, Yellow Box. When I thought I was too cool for them. So I read up to The Goblet of Fire, but that was it. So I would like to reread them again, try to, because people still like shit themselves senseless over those books. So, I mean, they've got to still be good, but I'm always leery of pop culture, as I'm sure you are aware. I am always super leery of pop culture because I find that it's just like lowered expectations, all that kind of crap. I don't want to get disappointed by things. As George Carlin said, that's why I like sports, because half the stadium gets to go home disappointed. But yeah, no, I'm going to give them a read at some point. My brother loaned me his Kindle, which I've been really enjoying. I've been chewing through books on that thing, and I have no idea like what the difference is, like why I have a hard time reading books, but on the Kindle, maybe I think it's maybe like a size thing. I have no idea, because that Kindle's really nice. It's light, it's small. It's the Paperwhite, so it's got that stupid QWERTY keyboard on it, but I guess it keeps the costs down because they don't have to put a touchscreen on it. This guy here. God, Lego, what a brilliant invention. There's a really good mini documentary on Netflix that I watched about. I don't remember the name of it now, but it's all about the history of Lego, and it was really fascinating to watch. And like the Lego creators, like the people who just go out there and like design their own Lego sets. And like I've said before, it's a world I would love to spend more time in, but there's a number of problems of money, because Lego is super expensive, and space. Like, you can't really build a Lego kit and then just return it. So I already collect games and music, and I don't have space. A Lego collection takes up a goofy amount of space. Unlike, games where they're all the same size and they can all fit on a shelf together. And, like a Lego kit like this takes up as much space as like 6 games. So, priorities and all that. This little fella. There. This little guy. That. Okay. Well, I've successfully emptied one of my Tupperware containers of Lego. So we are getting there, folks. We are getting there. This little red doodad actually goes in there. Slides in, I think. Oh, okay. So it's okay. I wonder if that, like, I haven't heard a whole lot about that Lego Worlds game that's supposedly coming out. Like, is it just a Minecraft, like, MMO, but set in a Lego world, or, like, what's that all about? I'm really curious to know. Yeah, like, what that's all about. I think, I talked about a game that would be, like, basically just building Lego. I would still love to see something like that. And you could probably do that with Lego if you had some really cool tools where you could sort of mess around with your own stuff. And sort of do that. I think that could be really, really neat, really, really cool. Kind of like what they did with Magic Online when that came out, which is like, here's a whole bunch of Magic cards that you can buy. And, that's become the case with collectible trading card games. But the one I remember the most certainly is Magic Online. Messing around with stuff like that. I think that could be really, really cool if it's done right. And that was a big problem that Magic Online had. That came out while I was in high school. I was a huge Magic the Gathering player back then. I still have like thousands of cards, but the problem with Magic Online was like, hey, I've already invested in all these cards, and it's a great way to play with my friends, but now I have to reinvest into these cards, and that's a tough one. Like, how do you do that? I guess with QR codes now, you could like create unique QR codes for each card, but that's so much work to do like one-of-a-kind QR codes for every card. Maybe with Lego it would be a little different, but like, I don't know. I genuinely don't know. That's a problem for business type peoples to solve, not for me to solve. But yeah, like, how do you? Yeah, it's a little elevator here. Like, how do you make that work in this society? Like, and how do you maintain physical sales in a world like that? Like, I just kept buying physical because I had already bought into physical, and I already had thousands of physical cards. So I might as well just keep buying. I stopped playing Magic probably 5 or 6 years ago now, and I haven't, even then I hadn't bought cards decades, because it's a soul-sucking arms race, man, that game. Fucking Magic the Gathering. I used to collect Pokemon cards as well when I was really young. I should probably do this over here with the camera, sorry. Just putting this thing here together. I'm still learning how to do this, folks. Cut me some slack. Now we got these fidget spinners with a new stupid collectible thing. Let me tell you, they work for some people, and I think, you got this little like control panel thing here. I guess that's where this guy like hangs out and control panels. BBB. Like I totally understand the fidget spinner thing. They're therapeutic for some people, which I think is really important, but the vast bulk of people who claim that they are for therapeutic use are not using them. Self-diagnosed ADHD stuff. So, which again, like, as a social worker, I can super get that. Like, I totally understand where a lot of that's coming from. I'm not trying to like put down on these people or any people. So I'm a social worker. I love people, but I start having a lot of problems where people are, claiming they're for therapeutic use when they're very much so. For those people, they are not. I'm gonna shove that out of the way. I keep building over here by default because I'm trying to see over the microphone, which is like immediately right here, and then the camera. So my brain is just like, this space is all cluttered. I'm going to build over here. So this is like a Linkin Park song. I'm fighting with my brain, slowly going straight. Yeah, I don't know. Linkin Park. God. I used to be really into Linkin Park. That was the album. Meteora was the album of my high school years. Until I discovered thrash metal. Okay. We are now clear of my second tub. We're getting there, folks. This is all the light gray pieces done now. If you made it this far, thank you guys. I really do appreciate you watching this. This is so much fun for me. That's what we try to do. Like, we have a lot of debates on the channel, like Stefan and I. Not even debates, just conversations. Like, we're both sort of flop back and forth on both sides of that. It's like, what's the future of the channel look like? What kinds of stuff do we do with it? What are our next types of videos? And there's like a lot of conversations about like what we're doing with that. And, oh, well, you know, this series is going to be really long, so do we hold off on doing it, or do we do it? Do we just do it because we want to do it? Do we do it because we know it's going to pull in views and subs? And, you know, it's way more complicated doing a YouTube channel than I ever would have anticipated. And I see that a lot. Like, I'm part of a lot of YouTube groups where it's like, let's help each other out, you know, like video editing techniques and, you know, ideas, and like just conversation groups. And that's the one trend that I consistently see coming up over and over and over again. It's like, this is way more complicated than anybody ever would have anticipated. Especially doing Let's Plays in sort of a... Let me put you guys all the way down here. In sort of like a post Let's Play world, because like, Let's Play is kind of slowly dying and being replaced by Twitch streaming, which, yeah, we talked about how we incorporate that. Yeah, like, Game Grumps just kind of owns the Let's Play scene right now for the style that we do. You know, like, obviously Markiplier and PewDiePie and stuff like that exist, but they're very different worlds. So yeah, it's like, well, okay, what does the future of the channel look like? How do we reconcile all these different parts? What are we doing with the channel? How do we, like, what are our long-term goals? What does X, Y, and Z look like? And, like, the big one that we are always talking about are JRPGs. We both really want to do like some Final Fantasy games. We both really want to do games like Legend of Legaia, Grandia. He really wants to do a bunch of Dragon Quest stuff. I don't know much about Dragon Quest, so I can't really comment too much on it. But, you know, those games are 50, 60 hours and a lot of grinding. How does that work with our video style? These like 20-minute, relatively short-ish, well, mid-length Let's Play videos. How does that work with what we're doing? Yeah, like, what does that look like? And that's a constant conversation that he and I are having, because we both want to do it, and we're both in the same boat. Like, we really want to do it, but we just know it's a staircase. That's nice. This way the Ugnaught can get to his probably like low-paying Empire job. He probably gets paid like minimum or something, server's wage. But like, yeah, how does that look? What does a JRPG look like in Let's Play terms? Do we just do streams for that and play all day? How does that affect our schedule? Because right now, the way that we record, and this is great because we're both... It's time. Look at that face. You know, we're both in school and stuff. Yeah, no. That's actually pretty good looking for that. Yeah. But, you know, we're both students, so, you know, obviously the way that we record right now is, we're all very much so aware. We get together maybe once a month, twice a month, and, you know, spend a whole day recording. And that's pretty economical, because when you break it down, it's like, well, every hour we do a video is basically almost a month worth of content. That's 3 episodes. So we can pound out a month worth of content, whereas if we're streaming, we would have to do that every week, you know, or however often. Let's say we do stream. Do we stream and then slice up the episodes and still put them up on YouTube? Like, actually, on the last pieces, this is it. These are the last pieces of this kit, by the way. Like, what does all that look like? How do we make all that work? And that's a constant conversation. So, I mean, like, if you guys have any idea, like, what you would want to see happen, and what you want to see out of the videos and the channel and format, let us know. Like, we are honestly really interested to know what you guys think. Yeah, like, what do you want from us, and how does that, what do you want? And, like, how does that all work? So, okay. So I got this built here. This piece goes on top of that, got that. And then, boop. There we go, Han Solo himself. That goes there. And, dun 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 dun. Yeah. The thumb thing here is depress it. Han Solo rises from the grave. That's really cool. That's a really, somebody came up with that. Somebody brilliant designed that. Yeah, and then we've got like elevator here that goes up and down. We've got like whatever this is. I'm still not 100% sure like what this is for. Right, okay, so Han Solo is down. Does it do anything? No. Like, this is kind of a moot piece. I don't understand that. Elevator can come up. It's just this will like lock it into place. This bit here, when Han Solo is up, like rotate it. Don't do this. Should spin. Well, it spins a little bit, but you know, Han Solo would be like back here. Oh shit! There's like little grippy things for his Han Solo-y hands. Look at that. You can slide Indiana Jones right in there, and he's like holding into place. That's kind of cool. Okay. Yeah. So that's the Han Solo in carbonite with Boba Fett and a minimum wage Ugnaught here built. You guys in the front of this thing here. So there it is. That is that. And I think that's super cool. Thank you again, Amy, for donating this. I'm going to get this back to you in the next couple days. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. You know, I really do. Need this light here. So I don't need that light. It's just kind of washing out my terrible camera. I really appreciate if you have sat through all of this. You know what? In all honesty, I really genuinely do appreciate watching this. You know what? Thank you for sending in the couple questions that we did get. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know so that we can do more, or what else you want to see with the channel, because there's a lot of really cool stuff that we want to do, but we want to know what you guys want to see as well. Here, I'm going to put that down because I still have absolutely no idea what that is. So thanks, guys, and thanks. for them. I find I get frustrated with those kinds of games very, very easily, unlike, Stefan and El Nilo. El Nilo plays currently, I believe, in Street Fighter tournaments. Christ.